And if you haven't been paying attention over the last couple of years, unfortunately, that's on you. Prepping and current events. What's going on right now? Most times when people talk about preparedness and prepared mindset and prepping and such like that, they've got something in mind, an event or something that they're trying to prepare themselves and their family for. It could be a natural disaster, could be an economic collapse, could be nuclear war, or any number of things along that line. But right now, I think it's important to pay attention to current events that are going on right now and how they affect your preparedness. Some of the things that are going on, we've all been to the stores and we see how the food shortage is depleting items on the shelves. And I want to mention Hidden Prepper put out a very good video content on exactly this topic. It was the title of her message was Food Shortages and Biblical Warnings. So I'm gonna put a link to her video down below that she put up last week, and I'm going to encourage you to go out if you can and check out that video and check out some more of Hidden Prepper's videos. This lady is a prepper and she gets it, and she is also in tune with the word of God, and so you can get a lot of great information from her channel. Again, that's Hidden Prepper, link down below. With the food shortages, you all know that you need to get what you need. You should have been already stockpiling the food and items that you need. And if you haven't been paying attention over the last couple of years, unfortunately, that's on you. Another item that we need to be paying attention to in the current events today is the level of crime that we're seeing in this country. Now, I don't care, pick a city, pick any city in the United States, and you're going to hear about the crime wave that's going on. You're going to hear about the murders that are happening on a daily basis. Just this past Easter weekend, the country had 3 mass shootings, 2 of those in South Carolina and another one in Pittsburgh. Crime is going crazy. You need to do what I recommend you do, and what I try to do for myself and my family is I try not to put myself in a situation where I'm going to become a victim of crime. Most times, in fact, if not all times, these crimes are happening at night and at locations that you really don't have any need to be at. I'll just put it that way. If you're at home with your family, chances of you being the victim of a crime are a lot less than they are if you're out at the nightclub, or you're out at the party, or you're out doing something that you shouldn't be doing. That's my advice for not being a victim of crime. Immigration is another current event that we should be prepping for right now. Now, you might be kind of wondering, like, well, gosh, how could I be prepping for immigration? And what I really mean is you need to be aware of what's going on. And again, if you haven't been paying attention for the last couple of years, that's on you. But the immigration issue is just getting worse. Now, of course, you've probably heard in the news where Texas Governor Abbott is sending literal busloads of immigrants to Washington, D.C. In fact, I think the 4th bus is due to arrive today. Now, all this is happening, and Abbott's sending buses to D.C. with the immigrants. All the while, the administration is loading them up onto airlines and shipping them around the country. And, of course, they're arriving in these various cities around the country where they need the votes. They're arriving in the middle of the night under the cover of darkness because they don't want the press out there with all these illegal immigrants coming into the area. and they are illegal. And, you know, there's immigration. Immigration is one thing. Legal immigration is one thing. And what's going on down on the Texas border and the Arizona border, New Mexico border, California, that's illegal immigration. Just last year, I saw this reported, I believe it was today. Last year, they had identified, was it 21 known terrorists that were trying to come across the Mexican border into the United States? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I mean, really ask yourself, why do you think that is? Because they know they can get across and they know it's easy. And we've seen in the past what happens when you let terrorists into this country. They're flying jets into the skyscrapers. You've seen this. I don't know why more people aren't paying attention to the problem that this immigration crisis is creating. How can you prep for that? You need to be aware. And of course, being aware is one of the first things to be involved with in preparedness. Race relations is another current event that you need to be aware of and you need to be prepping for. You know, ask yourself, remember that subway shooting that happened last week? And they caught the individual, Frank James? How come you don't hear about that in the news anymore? If you followed that story after they arrested that man and saw some of the hateful, racist remarks that he was making on this platform, by the way, hate speech that he was spewing, and his channel was still up until the morning that they found him. But what happened to that? What happened to that story? What happened to the story back about the man that drove his car into the Christmas parade? I believe it was in Wisconsin, I think it was. You don't hear about that anymore. But let it be a white boy like Kyle Rittenhouse, and that's going to get news saturation for a year, even after the fact when he was found not guilty of anything, because he's a right-leaning conservative. They're not going to let that news cycle go. But if it's somebody that's spewing anti-white hate, you know, we don't want to hear about that. So let's don't push that story any more than we have to. Another current event that just won't go away is the coronavirus, the COVID-19. Saw on the news where Philadelphia has imposed reinstated the indoor mask mandate. So if you're inside a business establishment in Philadelphia, you're going to be required to wear a face covering. They just won't let this go. Shanghai, China, is in its third week of total and complete lockdown. Now, Shanghai is a major city in China. I think they've got a population of 20 or 25 million people. It's a major business area, and I believe it's also home to China's largest ports, if not the largest, one of the largest, where a lot of exports come out of. And Hidden Prepper mentions that in her video. Again, I'm going to leave a link down below, but she does such a good job. I don't want to take away anything that she covered. You need to go watch it. It's really good. But they won't let this thing go. Now, here's something I was just reading about, and I've had to take some notes here, so I want to kind of go over this. Now, this is really important, and I first heard about this weekend from Dr. John Campbell. I'm going to leave a link to his channel and his video below. And if you're not familiar with John Campbell, he is a British nurse practitioner. I believe I'm saying that correctly. And he has been just giving dynamite coverage, factual coverage during this whole pandemic thing about the facts and about the studies that are coming out. And you know, he throws in a little commentary every now and then, but he's real careful how he does it. What he really puts out there for the viewer to digest for themselves is the facts. Now, Dr. John did this story, I believe, over the weekend, but let me kind of just hit some of the highlights for it. Hang on with me here. Here's what it says. Health officials in several countries are investigating mysterious cases of severe liver disease in children. Now, the UK has been investigating at least 74 cases in which children have come down with hepatitis. And there's 3 similar cases in Spain, and also a few in Ireland are being investigated. Now, U.S. health officials say they're looking into 9 similar cases, and all of those cases were in Alabama. The U.S. children ranged in age from 1 to 6 years old, and 2 required liver transplants. And I remember reading in the story, in Europe, the ages are very, very similar. I think I said a few of them might have been a little bit older than 6 years old, but primarily the same age range right there. 2 transplants, 2 liver transplants in the U.S., and so far they've had 6 in the United Kingdom. Now, laboratory testing has ruled out hepatitis type A, B, C, and E viruses, and that's usually what causes these type of illnesses. And I did say that there has been a surge in the spread of adenoviruses, and adenoviruses had been previously linked to hepatitis in children, but mostly in kids with weakened immune systems. Now, they don't go into a lot of details on whether these children had pre-existing conditions or whether or not they had received the vaccinations or exactly what their case was, but it's very, very concerning. And this is an item that's a current event that you need to be aware of, and they need to find out what's going on with this, because this is very, very scary. It's very scary for me as a parent, although my kids are not that young anymore, but still, this is a bad deal. Prepping and current events. Get what you need now. Keep prepping.